Wait, can I say that? Can I say that?
I don't know. I'm scared to speak. Hello, this is Karen.
And this is Kevin.
And this is Right From Us.
Yeah, so we got banned last week.
So the big story is we're rebels. We'd said something that was not...
Yeah.
The YouTube gods they were not happy with us.
Our YouTube video last week was removed. Actually, we had a warning. The first time I uploaded it, it had a warning. Came back with a warning. It was removed, and it was a warning. It's like, I'm not really sure what.
Yeah, we weren't.
What it was because
they didn't give us a reason, right?
Well, supposedly medical misinformation.
Oh.
And we really didn't talk about anything different than what we've always talked about.
It must have been I can't say the word. We'll get banned.
And then anyway, we got a warning, and then I thought well maybe it's this, and I made a couple changes to the video and took off a couple of the pictures that were included and re-uploaded it, and then we got a strike, and a strike means that you're
suspended for 1 week.
So
strike 2, you're suspended for 2 weeks, and then the third strike, they delete your account. So if you're interested in finding out, if you're interested in listening to that podcast or watching that podcast, it is up on our Anchor account. It's actually probably anywhere that you have podcasts. It's probably because you uploaded it, right, as a podcast. So it's going to be wherever you listen to podcasts. And then the video is going to be on Rumble in its entirety. So if you're interested in watching or listening to that podcast that banned us from YouTube, those are where you can find it. It's not on YouTube though. So we have a hole.
Yeah. We really don't know why.
They didn't give us a reason.
We did talk about a couple of things that are controversial, but that's just something that's in the news.
Right.
And we didn't.
It's not like we were making stuff up. We were just simply talking about what was being reported.
Yeah, and we're not portraying ourselves as doctors or anything like that. I mean,
No, hardly.
So
we're just regular Jane and Joes here that
we're just
trying to navigate this craziness that we're living in right now. So I guess there are certain things that we can't talk about, and if that's the case, I guess we're going to have to come up with an alternative word or something.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that.
I guess we'll have to talk in code.
Yeah. And that's something we could talk about too. I mean, you see a lot of YouTube videos where they have disclaimers and they say they can't say certain words like certain words.
I know. It's crazy because when the whole pandemic started last March, YouTube was very, very sensitive and apparently still is on the type of pandemic we're having. I don't want to say it because YouTube will get upset. But a lot of YouTubers, in order to talk about it, were coming up with code words in lieu of saying the actual word so that I guess YouTube bots couldn't, figure out what they were talking about. Anyway, I guess we've reached that point where we're going to have to start speaking in code to talk about what's happening in our world right now because unfortunately this is the state of our big techs right now. They've just taken it upon themselves to censor us. So welcome. Welcome to big tech. Thankfully, we do have some alternatives out there. That's why we're utilizing Rumble. And to my knowledge, I don't know that any podcasts have been censored or taken down. Don't quote me on that, though. I don't know for sure. So
Rumble will not censor, but they don't allow pornography or
of course, and they shouldn't
things like that
because that stuff's just not
that stuff would get taken down,
right,
and
as they should, right.
This discussion, like what we're doing here,
right, exactly,
it's fine.
Yeah. Again, we're commenting on what's in the news. We're not making up news. We're not making up stories. And we're expressing our opinions, which I thought we still were entitled to, but now I wonder.
Well, in today's world, you really can't have a different opinion.
I know,
than
that's
what
what's
the
so scary
accepted
about it.
opinion is.
Right.
You know, there was that story a few weeks ago where Amazon is taking down books
Mm-hmm.
that are of a certain subject matter.
This is so sad. This is what we've been reduced to.
Yeah. And basically, conservative viewpoints are being censored.
Yeah.
So
basically, if you don't agree with them and their agenda, then they censor you. So, which is sad because a lot of stuff it's not being publicized because of all the censorship that's happening. For example, I think it was you. Didn't you first learn of President Biden's trip up the stairs through a foreign news media?
Yeah. I actually look at some foreign websites, just to get a different perspective on the news. You know, it seems like the American news media a lot of times doesn't always report the news.
Well,
and foreign websites a lot of times do.
Yeah. They either report erroneously or they don't report at all.
Yeah. And so there was this thing with Joe Biden tripping up the stairs of Air Force One, and he really tripped. He tripped like three times, and he fell.
Yeah.
And it's kind of sad actually to
I
watch it. I don't think it's funny.
I don't think it's funny
and
at all.
There was a lot of memes and everything on it, but
yeah.
But at that point, at one point when I was looking at it yesterday, the American news media did not even report it at all.
Well, and now that it's gotten so big and international news are reporting it, I mean, now they have no choice but to address it. So now that they're addressing it, it wasn't because he's elderly. It's because the wind blew him over. Apparently, there's some kind of.
They're saying the wind knocked him over.
Well, that's what I've heard.
I mean, that's almost worse. Actually, if you got a
It
president
is.
that the wind knocks over.
Here's the thing, though. It's just when you watch it, the first time you're like, because we've all tripped going up the stairs. Come on, we just don't lift your leg up high enough or whatever.
I trip all the time like that.
I trip all the time. I trip over my own feet as I'm walking across the floor. Everybody at work gives me a hard time. But the fact that he fell twice and then the third time, like he fell worse the second time, and then he had trouble getting up from that second time. So he was just fumbling and he's by himself. It's all focus is on him as he's trying to go into Air Force One. And I didn't find it funny at all. In fact, my heart broke for him just a little bit because I kind of feel like it's elder abuse. Because you can just tell that he is just not all there.
How old is he? 78?
I think he is 78.
78 or 79.
Yeah. But he's just a feeble old man that I feel like people are taking advantage of. And I do not like him. I do not agree with any of his beliefs or policies, but he is a human being.
Yeah.
And that's it's wrong.
I mean, speaking of censorship, during the whole campaign over the last couple of years, the conservative news media was pointing out the fact that this guy, is really not all there.
Yeah.
And
then he ends up being our president.
Yeah, but the mainstream media was just covering all that up.
Oh yeah, and they're still covering for him.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, and foreign leaders are making fun of him, and it's got to be perceived as weak, and can't put America in a very good position.
Yeah, and I heard today also that Instagram is not anybody that posts that video up on Instagram of Biden tripping up the stairs, they are taking it down.
You know what really makes me curious about this whole censoring thing is, don't you get angry when someone tries to censor what you're saying or your thoughts or a question that you want to ask? I don't understand why people are not getting angry about being censored.
I got censored once on Facebook, and that was enough for me.
I mean, it made you angry, right?
Yeah.
Like, how dare you?
Yeah.
And so the fact that people are just willing to either overlook it, ignore it, or compensate for it, it's just mind-boggling to me. I think that just shows the state of our country, the state of people's minds right now. I just find it sad and disturbing. And I feel like this is going to end up coming back to bite us quite hard If not in the future, then maybe short term. I don't know, but it's he called Vice President Harris President Harris.
Yeah, I saw that
in one of his speeches as well.
He's actually done that a few times. That's kind of...
Well, I think because this whole thing has been set up with him knowing that at some point she's going to be the president, just because by default.
Yeah, she's probably just watching him fall up the stairs going, ha, ha, ha.
Okay, and that's interesting you say that, because in one of the clips that I watched of him going up the stairs, it would break away to her, like she was, on the sidelines, kind of waving him goodbye or whatever. And when he tripped, she was like, oh, like, I don't know if that was a separate piece that they knitted together.
I'm sure that wasn't like a meme. There's been a bunch of memes.
That's what I mean.
There.
I don't know. It could be a meme.
It's pretty funny, some of the memes, but it's not really funny that he fell up the stairs.
No,
so.
I'm sorry. I never find it funny when someone gets hurt. I don't understand that humor whatsoever.
Yeah.
Side note, do you know I used to call memes Mimi?
Mimi? What is it, meme?
It's meme.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when memes first came out, because it looks like Mimi. I have me in some old videos calling it Mimi. How embarrassing. But anyway, let's see.
Well, what can we talk about that?
Did you guys get your stimulus checks? We got ours. Mm-hmm. I don't think our oldest son got his yet, though.
Yeah.
I don't know what the holdup is on that.
Most people that I've talked to have gotten theirs already.
So I was looking at an interesting conversation on Twitter, and you're going to have to help me with this because you're the accountant expert here. I am not. But in my mind, I don't understand why people are so excited to get a portion of their money back. Is that not the right way to think?
Well, you're talking about like their normal tax refund?
No, I'm talking about the stimulus checks that we're getting. Yeah. Isn't that basically our own money that we're getting back?
Well, yeah.
I don't understand why people are so like,
your tax.
They're acting like this is free money, but this is actually our money, right?
It's really just money that they just printed out of thin air, really, if you think about it.
Man, that scares me too.
It's going to have to be paid back by somebody.
At some point, yeah. It's going to cause some inflation. It's coming. Speaking of, you guys notice that gas prices are going up? Mm-hmm. There was a picture of a gas station, $5.55. And I don't know if that was real. If that was, it might have been in California
or something.
Yeah, I was thinking it might be.
I also heard that they're actually intending to make gas prices go up so that people will go
are forced to, because they did that
electric cars
when
and
Obama was in office.
Yeah.
And that's why there was such a surge in electric cars and hybrids and stuff like that, which, to be honest, we thought about buying a hybrid too when it was time to buy a car.
Yeah, one time back when gas prices were $5 a gallon here, or almost $5 a gallon. It's like, maybe we should think about it.
I'm not opposed to doing that at all.
I think it's pretty cool.
It is
pretty cool idea to have an electric car.
Yeah, but it's just not practical, I guess,
it's
right?
Not really environmentally. You're not really helping the environment.
Not really. When you have to charge it, and the electricity comes from fossil fuels.
Yeah, most of the electricity is coming from coal, and then there's the issue with the lithium batteries being mined, and it's very unenvironmental.
So, just pay attention to gas prices. That's a direct result of Biden being in office and all the policies that he's passing or jamming through.
Yeah, and speaking of Biden's policies, we've got the big illegal immigration crisis at the border on the south.
I don't know what they're going to do with that. It's bad down there. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention or not. But
yeah, and when Biden's officials were asked about, what's the cause of this, they're saying is it because of Biden's policies? He basically invited the immigrants to come up to the United States, and they're saying no, it's because of climate change.
Well, that, and didn't Psaki also say it was Trump's fault?
I don't know.
It seems like if it wasn't that issue, it was another issue that she was trying to blame on Trump, which was whatever.
Yeah, Biden's officials said it was because of climate change. They've had 2 hurricanes down there, and then Nancy Pelosi said, well, it's because of droughts down there. It's like, okay, wait. Hurricanes,
How does that argument even make sense?
Hurricanes are kind of wet, and then drought. That's like, isn't that contradictory?
So basically, these people are running away from weather changes.
Yeah, from the weather.
I guess is what she's trying to say.
Here's a little hint. We have hurricanes here too.
Well, also, here's another little hint. Weather is cyclical.
Yeah.
Oh, YouTube's probably going to censor me because I'm against climate change. I'm not against it, but I definitely don't think it's caused by a lot of what they're saying.
So you're saying you're a climate change skeptic?
I'm a climate change skeptic when it comes to humans having any control over it. Can we improve our environment, have cleaner air and cleaner resources and cleaner energy? Of course. But do I think that climate change is being caused by humans and their decisions? No, I do not.
Climate change has been happening for thousands of years.
Yeah, it's called cyclical. It's the weather. It's weather patterns. That's why you have averages. Right.
I mean, man possibly has a small effect on it. But it's been warmer than it is now thousands of years ago, and it's been cooler than it is now thousands.
Okay.
So what's the correct temperature?
I don't know.
They're trying to pass all these laws and things to do away with climate change. Well, how do we know this isn't the ideal temperature right now that we're?
Well, that's true. So why do you think? I mean, when you say that, in what capacity do you think humans have contributed to?
Well, I mean, it's for sure, just like the growth of cities and the more pavement and concrete you have, the more heat's going to be absorbed, and it could possibly have an effect on the temperature, a slight effect on the temperature. But there's this thing called the sun up there in the sky that's a lot.
I've heard it's pretty hot.
Yeah, that goes through cycles and heats up the earth and cools down the earth because of the sun cycles.
And then there's the cow farts. I mean,
that's true.
That's definitely contributing.
That's true. That Bill Gates is wanting to force artificial meat.
Oh yeah, I heard about
that. Was on my
that
list a couple weeks ago. We never did talk about that, but that's something that's another crazy thing that Bill Gates is trying to put forward is artificial meat.
And that's another person. Why are we listening to him? Isn't that crazy? Is it because he has a lot of money? I don't understand why we're giving any credence to what this man says. He's not an expert in whatever he's talking about. He might be an expert in computers and IT stuff, but how is he an expert in climate change or the whole pandemic situation? I don't understand why we give credence to these people. It's like, I mean, he's entitled to his opinion, of course. He could make some suggestions, of course, but what he says is not gospel truth, and yet people are acting like it is, and I'm like, what? Why? Before we move on about the whole immigrant situation, there was I don't know if you heard about this, but there's human smugglers interrupt interview. Did you see this? This was on Tatum Report. Earlier this week, there was a testy exchange between Fox News White House correspondent Peter Doocy and White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki over whether the presence of the Federal Emergency Management Agency, usually used to assist in the wake of natural disasters, at the southern border meant the migrant influx in the early days of the Biden administration was a disaster. Psaki didn't, of course, provide a straight answer. But throughout the course of this interview, in the background is, let's see, as he gave his remarks to Breitbart along the Rio Grande, the smugglers were crossing the river. The area in which they entered wasn't secured by a wall or a fence, just a shallow portion of the river. Run for the ladder, an individual in the video told other migrants as they ran north toward a Laredo mall. It's unclear who the individual is, but Breitbart reported that he was a cartel-connected human smuggler. So in the meantime, they were smuggling people into the country in the background of this video or this interview. So I don't know how you could possibly deny that it's going on when it's happening in the background. That's kind of like that one video, that one reporter that was trying to say that the BLM riots were peaceful and there was a building burning in the background.
It's peaceful, yeah. The thing bombs and fire in the background.
It just cracks me up when this kind of stuff happens because I don't know how you could possibly spin it when it's right there in the background.
Yeah, they've got the situation down there on the border too, where they're having to release the people, the immigrants, the illegal immigrants that are coming over. They're releasing them, and then they're going to the bus station where they're being tested for.
They're actually releasing them?
They're releasing them, and then they're getting tested, and some are testing positive, and then it's just like, okay,
well, you're positive. Go about your merry way.
And they actually are getting on buses and going across the country. So isn't that sort of like a movie where wasn't there a movie where they did something like that, where they infected a bunch of people and...
Oh, wait, probably.
Can we talk about that?
I don't know.
So anyway, yeah, it's pretty scary.
So if there's another super spreader, then we know where that came from.
Yeah.
It's not because you happen to spend some time with your family.
Yeah,
anyway.
But if you were a traveler coming into the United States and tested positive, wouldn't you be required to
absolutely. In fact,
isolate for 2 weeks?
If you do that in Canada, they sequester you in an unknown place.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about that in the last couple of weeks. That is pretty wild up in what's going on up in Canada.
Yeah, you Canadians, I don't know. You guys are uptight. I don't know. Speaking of the undisclosed topic of conversation that we are not allowed to talk about, did you see the interview or the interrogation from Rand Paul to Dr. Fauci?
Yes, I did.
That was pretty great. Rand Paul was saying everything that we all have been wanting to say for a long time. And it is even sweeter that he's actually speaking to the man who is...
behind it all, basically.
Really, yeah, for sure. So basically, in a nutshell, if you haven't seen this, Rand Paul is saying, where you keep quoting that your decisions are based on science. Tell me exactly what scientific studies you're referring to by asking people to wear 2 masks and continuing to social distance after
they've had the vaccine.
Right.
Yeah. And what's the science behind that? Why should people have to continue to wear masks and social distance after they've had the vaccine?
But then Rand Paul goes a step further, and he actually quotes other studies that are saying that it's not as bad as we think it is. It's actually improving. There's no scientific study evidence to support what Dr. Fauci is trying to tell everybody to do. And then Dr. Fauci doesn't have an answer. He never comes back out and says, well, here's the study that I'm referring to. What he says is he actually deflects the question. And he says, well, I'm only suggesting these further steps because, these viruses can mutate and there's variants out there.
Yeah, he keeps talking about the new variants of the virus that are coming out. And, I mean, that's a good point. If there's a new variant, then you probably should continue to lock down and wear a mask. But the thing about it is, just like the flu, there's new variants. Like, there's multiple variants every year.
So if you're going to use that argument, then you have to also apply that to the cold, the flu, any other virus that routinely mutates every single year. Then basically he's suggesting that we never stop wearing masks.
And that's what he's saying. We'll never not have to wear a mask. So it was just a very interesting and satisfying confrontation to watch those two talk. It was nice to see Dr. Fauci squirm a little bit because he's just been so front and center this whole time, and he's been wrong so many times, and it was just nice that someone had the courage to confront him. Flip-flop. I mean, every month he's got a different opinion on stuff.
Right. And we're still continuing to listen to this man. He's basing his policies on his own conjecture. And I don't know how that is scientific.
That is definitely one of President Trump's biggest mistakes, was continuing to listen to Dr. Fauci.
Absolutely.
After about 2 months, when it was obvious that he was just,
Yes, absolutely.
So.
And then something else that kind of goes along with the subject that shall not be mentioned. Theme parks are urging guests from coasters screaming risks
What?
This is actually on the Unusual Headlines website, but I believe it's true. Theme parks urge to protect guests from coaster screaming risks. California theme parks preparing to reopen amid the COVID-19 pandemic are being urged to take extra steps to curb the risks associated with a common roller coaster riding activity, screaming. The California Attractions and Parks Association, the trade group representing the state's theme parks, said parks preparing to open in April should take extra steps to make sure guests aren't spreading the COVID-19 by screaming on roller coasters. Face covering usage and/or modifications to seat loading patterns will be required on amusement park rides to mitigate the effects of shouting. Additionally, on rides, guests generally face in one direction. Not always. So I'm curious to see how that's going to logistically pan out. Are they just going to like strap your mask to your face? Because how is your mask not going to fall off?
Well,
if
what
you're
are they going to do if you do scream?
Well, I don't know how they can keep a mask on. You're on a roller coaster.
That's true.
So what are they going to do? They're going to just strap your mask on to the point where you cannot not only scream, you can't breathe. So I don't know. It's just, and you're outside. Let's not forget that you're outside. It's not like you're in an enclosed room with little air circulation. Anyway, I thought that was just adds to the insanity that is our world right now.
Yeah, and also cruise lines came out this week saying that the only vaccinated passengers with proof of vaccines would be able to cruise. That's P&O Cruise Lines, which is Carnival. It's a Carnival subsidiary.
What's it called? P&O? I never.
P&O.
It's something I've ever heard of that before.
England.
Oh.
And then Virgin Cruises, which is a new cruise line, Virgin America.
Oh, yeah.
And then Royal Caribbean said that they were only going to allow vaccinated passengers. So I don't know if that's going to be.
Well, that means, and in fact, kind of along those lines, have you been seeing on social media where people, they're asking people not to post pictures of their vaccinated cards, their vaccine cards? Mm-hmm. I guess because they're worried that forgers will get out there and make forgeries of them.
That is going to be something. How, like, if they're going to enforce all these vaccine mandates, how are they going to enforce it? Like for concerts and things like that.
Well, they're just going to say you can't go.
They had apparently
unless you can show a card or something.
They tested it in New York at a concert or something this week, and everybody was required to have a vaccine passport.
Yes, that's what it was. Vaccine passport. That's exactly what they were talking about on social media.
How are they going to enforce that? I mean, how can they prove?
Well, I can tell you how, because we do the same thing at the hospital. You have to sign a consent for your vaccines. Before you can have the vaccine, you have to sign a consent.
So it goes into some database or something like that?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't like that.
So that's another reason why I'm not interested in doing it myself. But yeah, that's where we're heading. So
yeah,
I don't know that we're going to ever get to go on a cruise again or fly if that's what they're going to start requiring.
Well, in Florida, Governor DeSantis said that he is not going to require.
I love that man.
Apparently, was sponsoring or putting forth some legislation saying that you would not have to have any proof of vaccine to travel to Florida.
Wow.
So that's good.
So how would that work then? So, like, if we're flying from our hometown and we usually have to, get another flight in Chicago or Dallas or whatever, but if our final destination is Florida, are they going to let us go through without showing some kind of passport because our final destination is Florida? I can see it getting really complicated.
I don't think they could ever do it for travel within the United States. It's only going to have to be just like international travel probably.
I wonder. I don't know. But you know what, DeSantis, that man needs to run for president. He just impresses me all the time.
Yeah, he also had a press conference this week about education, and they're not going to allow the critical race theory.
Yeah, I saw that. Again, good job,
Yeah.
Governor DeSantis. You're pretty great. You know what, Floridians, you're very lucky to have him as your governor, because that is pretty awesome that he has the courage to stand up and to do what's right for your state. So, man, good job, Governor DeSantis. 2 thumbs up, buddy. That's awesome.
Yeah, we should go to Florida again soon.
Oh, absolutely. I think we need to support that state for the governor, if for no other reason. I mean, the rest of Florida is great too. Don't get me wrong. I love Florida. It's DeSantis sweetens the pie a little bit. So that's pretty great.
So anyway, we had the unprecedented snowstorm in Denver a couple weeks ago.
Not unprecedented. Apparently the last one was 85 years ago.
Yeah, well, in 1885. See, and I guess my point is, why is everybody overusing the word unprecedented?
Right. It's like it's a buzzword.
Don't you know what that means? It means it's
never happened before.
Or it's unusual. But, Colorado, it snows there.
Quite a lot, apparently.
Yeah. And, there's like a list of snowstorms that were as bad as this storm. So it's not unprecedented.
It's so funny because you read the sentence, huge snowstorm, huge unprecedented snowstorm, worst since 1885 or whatever. And it's like, but you're saying it's unprecedented, like it's never happened before.
Make any sense.
But it did happen in this year. It's just, but again, people don't pay attention to that.
Yeah. And then I have a correction. A couple weeks ago, I was talking about how they were trying to arrest people in our town for JayWalking, but it's actually we have this new ordinance where if a pedestrian is within 3 feet of a crosswalk, the person driving a car is supposed to stop. So they're trying to they've got like a big sting operation. They're trying to catch people not stopping for pedestrians 3 feet away from the crosswalk. So they're paying people to go up there and stand 3 feet away from the crosswalk.
I want to know the story behind it. Like, what has happened that they feel like they have to make it an ordinance or whatever.
The city council just comes up with all kinds of
either
crazy
that
things
or
like this all the time.
What do you want to bet that one of the city council members was getting ready to cross the street and some jerk sped past them without even slowing down or whatever? It's like, you know what? We're gonna make a thing out of this.
Yeah. Yeah, just like in the middle of the pandemic, one of the city council members came up with this thing to penalize people for not putting their trash cans up after 24 hours.
Yeah,
that was like right during the lockdown. It's like that. Is that the most important thing you can come up with?
He probably was on his way home one day and he saw all these trash cans still sitting out. It probably annoyed him. Well, so it's like, let's just make something out of this.
People should put their trash cans up, but at the time it was like right in the middle of the big lockdown, and it's like, why is that a priority?
Well, which there's no excuse because you're home, right?
Yeah.
So
it's crazy. All right, we're getting up there.
Here's a story that kind of tickled my funny bone here, and look at the bigger picture, not just the story itself. That's the purpose of me bringing this up. It's man sucker punches older woman. She puts him in the hospital. So this Asian woman is getting ready to cross the street. And by the way, I mean, what is going on with this Asian American violence thing? So I don't know if this is a result of the media making this into another race issue against Asian Americans. I don't know why. But this man, he's walking by this Asian woman. She's 76 years old, and he punches her in the eye for no reason. Well, this little Spitfire goes after him with she had some kind of like stick or something on her. I don't know why. I don't know what exactly she used, but she just beat the crap out of the man and put him in the hospital.
Oh, wait, you can't say that. That's violent. Inciting violence.
Well, no, this woman did. She beat him with this stick because she was so upset that he came over and just punched her in the eye for no reason. And she kept saying, because she speaks Chinese, and an interpreter nearby was interpreting what she said. She kept saying, "You bum! Why did you hit me? Why did you hit me? You bum!" And the reason I'm bringing this up is, one, it's satisfying to see thugs get what's coming to them, because you can't just do that. I don't understand why this is a thing. Is this becoming a meme, a challenge? Why are these people just coming up to old people and just assaulting them? Like, there's this one video of this guy walking by this little old lady. She's got a cane, pushes her into a fire hydrant, and she falls down. I'm sure she's probably pretty injured because she was a frail old lady. What have we come to that we're purposely hurting our elderly? What is wrong with people? Seriously. So one, I think that needs to be brought more attention to. But two, you know what? Good for this Asian woman for not taking it and kind of giving tit for tat. And I think that's what we're going to have to start doing some of this stuff will just go away, because we're surrounded by bullies, and we're allowing these bullies this airtime and this platform to just be a bully.
Well,
right?
Speaking of bullies harming elderly people, what about Cuomo and Whitmer putting the COVID patients back into the nursing homes? That wasn't on our list here, but...
Well, and they're now investigating her, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, she didn't do as much damage as Cuomo, but she's a close second.
The damage that they did, and plus the cover up of the numbers, yeah,
is almost worse in some ways, I think. But here's the sad part: is Cuomo may end up losing his governor's seat, not because of what he did to the elderly, but because all these women have come forward and accused him of sexual misconduct.
Yeah, I almost
that's
think
what's getting more press, and it's like, what?
I almost think that's like a cover up of the worst thing, which is the deaths in the nursing homes.
So you think that they're bringing more attention to this to try to dilute the more serious
just to
accusation? Well,
don't you think?
Potentially, yeah. But anyway, just this whole elder abuse trend that seems to be happening right now is just evil. And I think we need to just start standing up and saying, no, you're not going to mistreat this little old lady who's just going about her business. Bunch of crackheads.
And you've got this thing here that says, is unemployment paying more than a job?
Mm-hmm.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, I know that at one time it was it $600 a week? I just know that I've heard of people that are choosing to stay unemployed rather than get a job. And I was actually talking about that today. I was driving around and I noticed all the help wanted signs.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
There are help wanted signs
everywhere,
all over the place.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because that's precisely the point of why I put this on our list, because restaurants and small businesses are struggling to find employees as the government continues to provide so much financial assistance in response to the coronavirus pandemic that it can be more cost effective for some to remain unemployed.
Yeah, if you think about it, if you're getting unemployment, then you've got your stimulus money.
Why?
I mean, that's
go get
probably
a job?
A lot more money than you would make at your job.
Absolutely it is.
Why would you get a job?
Absolutely it is. And I think that's another... I think the government's doing that on purpose, because the more people that are dependent on the government for their money, their livelihood, the more likely they're going to get that vote. Vote for me if you want to continue to be unemployed, and if you want to continue getting checks from us, you got to vote for me. I mean, what else? How can you possibly think that's the right thing to do?
Yeah.
It's just another government policy where they're just shooting themselves in the foot once again.
Yeah, really, for like the last 6 months, I've just been wondering, it's like, why aren't these restaurants opening up their dining rooms? It's like mainly fast food restaurants that haven't opened up their dining room. It's like that probably explains it right there. Well, that's probably one good reason.
Part of it's probably because of corporate.
Can't get the people.
Corporate's like, no, we need to stay closed for safety reasons. Yeah. But I think you're right. I think another big reason is because they probably just don't have the people to work it. So anyway, that's why I wanted to bring that up, because I think once again, every single time they extend unemployment or they give you a stimulus check, they're discouraging people from getting jobs.
I mean, do you blame people for not?
Oh, absolutely not. I don't blame them at all.
Yeah.
It's only human.
Yeah.
I mean, that just makes logical sense. If I'm going to get more money to stay home, then why wouldn't I?
Yeah.
It's just that,
it's really sad.
Well, it is sad. And I don't know if it's really the right thing to do. It's not the right thing to do. It's kind of unethical, I guess. Is that the word I'm looking for? But it is a human thing to do.
I used to have this discussion with some people I worked with. You know, the place I worked with had sick pay that you would, if you didn't use it, you would lose it.
Yeah.
And they would say, you know, why wouldn't you just use it?
Yeah.
And it's like, because I'm not sick. And they would say, well, that's stupid. You get the free days. Why wouldn't you?
Same with vacation. Like, you know, the conservative talk show hosts that we listen to every morning, they have the same policy at their work. If you don't use your vacation, you lose it. So why wouldn't you go on vacation? Which might be a little bit of a different issue because everyone deserves a break, maybe for mental health reasons, if no other reason. But we have a kind of the opposite policy at where I work. If you're sick, you have to use your ETO. And after 3 days of being sick, then it switches over to your sick pay. But you have to have a doctor's note in order for it to be. And I get it because people just do what you say and abuse it. And, you know, you can't do that. So,
yeah. Okay, what else you got?
Let's do some questions. Kevin's favorite part of the podcast. Okay. I don't want just yes or no. I want to know your reasons too. Okay. All right. I think public displays of affection are fun and romantic, and I enjoy them. Yes or no?
What's the next question?
You have to answer that.
What was it again? Are fun and romantic?
I think public displays of affection are fun and romantic, and I enjoy them.
To a certain extent, but I don't know.
I say no. I'm not big into public displays of affection.
Yeah.
That's like, you know, you putting your arm around me or we holding hands or something.
Yeah, just like a little peck on the cheek would be good enough, you know, really, in public.
Okay, all right, so now that we've answered that question, why do you feel that way?
Just, I don't want to make people feel uncomfortable or whatever around
Yeah.
them. It's like, you know, because I've seen people making out, you know,
Yeah.
before. It's like, can you not get a room or something?
Yeah, that is really awkward. But not only that, but in some ways, I kind of feel like it's rubbing salt in someone's wound. Like, what if someone's walking by and they just had a breakup or they're in the middle of a divorce or whatever? Yeah. It's just like, look at me, I'm so happy and you're not. You know, I don't know. It just makes you feel awkward and weird.
Yeah.
You have the opportunity to take a dream trip somewhere your partner has no interest in visiting. Do you go without your partner? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Probably, yes.
What?
I mean, well, you've done it to me before. You went to that
I did, actually.
place in North Carolina.
Yeah, Biltmore House.
Yeah.
With my mom. That was really fun, actually.
And I had no interest in that.
And you've been places with your uncle.
Without you.
Yeah. But that's not your dream trip. Okay, first of all, let's back up. What would be your dream trip? Where would you love to go and spend some time in?
I mean,
really?
Not really. I mean, I've been in just about every place I want to go, really.
Oh, come on. There's got to be some place that you would love to visit.
Trip. I don't really have a dream trip.
Really?
No. I mean, I'm pretty happy just staying at home.
Really?
Yeah.
I would love to go abroad, like Paris, Australia, London. I don't know if it's necessarily my dream trip. I'm kind of like you. We've done so much traveling that it's like, I mean, it's been fun, but
yeah.
But would I go without you? No, I don't think I would. I think that would feel weird because I want to experience that with you.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
Okay. But we have gone on vacations without each other before.
Good luck going abroad now with all the
that makes me so sad.
Passports required.
I hope that's not a forever thing.
I don't know. I don't think it's going away.
Oh, don't say that. That really makes me depressed whenever you say things like that. I don't know. I just hope that it all, I don't know, just blows over.
Just blows over.
At some point.
About a year ago, I thought, well, this is going to last about maybe 3 months. And
truly thought.
Like, how can this craziness go on?
Because we had our cruise scheduled for October, right? Or September. September. And I truly thought there's no way.
There's no way it's going to go on past the summer.
Happy year, by the way, of 15 days to slow the spread.
Yeah.
Music was better when I was growing up than it is now.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the music now, is it even music?
Okay. But let's be fair. you don't really listen to music for nowadays. I'll never forget, we were on a cruise one year, and we were it was the going away party, and they're playing all the latest music and stuff like that, and we're dancing and we're having a great time, and I'm kind of singing along, and you look at me like truly puzzled, like, how do you know this song?
Yeah, seriously, how do you even know it? How do you know the songs?
Because I listen to this stuff at work, and just at various other times, but I personally like not all music, but I didn't like all old music either. But I personally like music nowadays. I think it's just really peppy and fun and energetic. And
I have to say that
catchy, and
I have to say that country music has a lot more things that I like than any other type of music, because it seems like, first of all, like the popular music doesn't have any guitars in it and doesn't have any guitar solos.
Yeah.
Country music actually is it's kind of like what rock used to be.
So that's basically your criteria for good music then.
Yeah, if it doesn't have a guitar solo, it's worthless.
Because let's be fair. I mean, between pop and country, you've listened to more country. So you can't say that pop is bad because you haven't really given pop a chance, right?
I listened to it for about 2 seconds. It's like, that's crap, so I'll turn to something else.
Well, I mean, that's fine. That's your opinion. But
like it.
yeah, I don't necessarily like country.
But doesn't have guitars in it, it's worthless.
And see, that's funny because once again, we're so opposite in so many ways. That is the part of music that gets on my nerves, is the guitar solos. Because to me, it's just a bunch of screeching and scratching, and I don't know. But that's fine. That's okay. We're different. What are 3 words you would describe to use your favorite qualities about your partner? In other words, what are 3 words you would use to describe me? Careful.
Beautiful. Intelligent.
Bossy. Notice he's not denying that.
I don't know. That's the only 2 I can
hot-headed, outspoken, opinionated.
Yeah.
That's okay. It's true. It's true. My 3 words for you would be kind. You're a very kind man. Resourceful. You're very resourceful. And, what's a 3rd word I could use to describe you? Cute.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Before we wrap it up, how was your week? How are you doing on the trailer? Give us the progress report on the trailer.
I finished all the installation except for the doors. Basically, I haven't insulated the doors, but all the walls and ceiling are insulated. And today I got the beadboard. We're putting beadboard on the ceiling. I got that up. So
I know. I went to go look at it today, and I'm loving it. It looks so good.
So now we're ready to basically mark out the layout on the
floor and
everything.
I'm so excited about that part.
Fit, so.
Because I can't visualize what he's talking about. Like, we're going to put the kitchen over here. Well, in my mind, I'm thinking, well, how big is that going to be? How much space are we going to have left over? So I'm excited for you to put the tape down so we can actually get a visual.
Yeah. Yeah, and I went to the recycling place today again to look for cabinets.
You didn't have any luck on that. Did you go to Habitat for Humanity?
Yeah.
Oh, do you call that the recycling place? Or
yeah.
Okay.
It's the Habitat for Humanity.
I thought maybe that was like 2 different places.
Restore.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, and
I mean, you had good luck the last time you went, but not so much today.
So it's going to be one of those things where it's just going to be hit and miss. I'm just going to keep going over there. And I was talking to a friend over there today, and he said, "Why don't you just build the cabinets?"
I mean, you're welcome to, but that's just more work for you. And don't you think that might end up being more expensive?
His point was, you're going to look forever for cabinets that you're going to have a hard time finding it, and then you're going to end up having to retrofit them to.
And that's a good point, because you did already buy something that you're going to have to take off 5 inches from the back of.
But anything that for that space would have to be
true.
Retrofitted. So
that's true. So what do you think? Would it be better for you to retrofit something or just build it from scratch? I can't answer that question because I know it's a lot of work either way. What would be easier for you?
I think for the kitchen cabinets, I should find something
like retrofit
it.
Yeah.
But then for the other parts, like the
bed, you're going to have to build,
pedestal,
aren't you?
I can probably build that. So
yeah, true.
Yeah. So anyway, it's going to be Probably both. Some buying some and building some.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to seeing, because you're just so creative and talented in that kind of stuff. I am not, clearly, at all good at that stuff. But that's what I mean. You're so resourceful. You're just so good at problem solving and figuring things out, and it always works out and always looks great. So,
yeah. Well, I don't know about that, but
no, I think so. I think it looks fantastic. We had a couple of interviews at work that I was privy to, and that was kind of eye-opening. It's always eye-opening to talk to new applicants, because I just feel like, we come from a different generation where our work ethic is so much different than what it is for kids nowadays, and so it's quite a challenge to interview people, because I don't know, just some of their answers and their demeanor, and it's just like, why are you here? You clearly are not that interested in this job based on what I see you doing right now. Granted, people are nervous, obviously. You probably act differently when you're nervous, but anyways, I got to do some of that. And then our oldest son, got his wisdom teeth cut out yesterday. All 4 of them infected. There were a few of them that were infected, and he took it like a champ.
He did really good.
He has done really good. Now, granted, this is only the second day.
Yeah, when I got my some teeth cut out earlier this year or last year, it was about the 3rd day when it really started hurting.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering how he's going to be tomorrow, but
yeah.
But anyway,
he really seemed happy though.
Oh,
because he's really been in pain for the last
year.
He
has really suffered this past year.
And
he put it off as long as he could, and so it was quite pricey. But sometimes you got to be comfortable. And anyway, I'm just glad I got it done. All right. Well, I guess that's about all I have for this week. How about you? Anything else you want to add?
That's it for me.
Okay. Well, very good. Well, once again, guys, we appreciate your time and your interest in listening to us talk. You can find us a couple of places. Probably YouTube after Tuesday. If we don't get another strike against us. I'm kind of holding my breath whenever you upload this. I hope that
We'll see.
I feel like we have to bow down to the YouTube gods to...
Yeah, we'll just have to tone it down. We'll have to be not so naughty next time.
Please let us be on your platform. Let's be fair. We were a little provocative last time.
Except
I think we were a little
really
provocative.
didn't talk about anything that's not out there in the news already. So
yeah, I know.
I really don't.
I'm just trying to be fair. But we're also on Rumble. You'll leave a link to Rumble in the show notes.
Yeah.
And anywhere that you listen to podcast, you'll find us there on the podcast version. And side note, I'm getting ready to start my Patreon. Pretty excited about that on my Right From Karen. It's not live yet, but I'm very, very close to getting there. It's for writers primarily. If you are interested in writing, reading writing, talking about writing, that's kind of what I'm focusing on. So I'm very excited about that. That's coming up soon. All right.
All right. Sounds good.
Okay. Thanks so much, guys. Bye.
Bye.
What's the matter?
So what was the biggest thing that happened this week, I guess?
I'm falling up the stairs.
I mean, for us, it's getting banned. We could start with something like, something about that, like, we could say,
We're officially podcasters. How about, we are badass podcasters. We've been banned or something. I don't know. We've been censored.
we're naughty.
We've been very naughty. We've been censored.